What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the No Bullshit Podcast, man. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome back, man. As you know, it's Kai.
Yo, it's Conklin.
And listen, this is day 2 of round 1. We aren't able to get to all the games right now because, we're recording right now. Still some games going on. But in our next playoff video, you guys will get the flow. We'll recap those videos. But starting off with the first game, coincidentally, a game that we did, game 1 we didn't get to in the last video. Pelicans versus Thunder, man. So, Conklin, I'll let you take it away.
I'm not gonna lie, because we were recording during the game was happening, right? And we watched the ending together, which was kind of crazy, right? How it transpired. But like, hey man, all I gotta say is Shai put on a clinic down the stretch, man, and that's all you ask for your best player on the team, right? When you're the best player on the team, you want to have that ability to just go out there and show what you're made of and show why you're proven to be worth the contract that you have, right? And so I'm for sure he did that. I want to also give a quick shout out to the Pelicans, right? Where heading into this game, or just the series in general, right? I feel like we both had the same kind of like assumption where like whoever is the AC, they're not going to put up a good fight. They might win a game, they might win two maybe on a bad shooting night from the Thunder. But shoot, they kept it tight this game, man, all throughout. It was a low scoring game. I mean, it was a 2 point game. It didn't reach the hundreds. It was 94-92, very close. Both sides were missing shots here and there, but there's two people I wanted to highlight for the Pelicans. Like I said, one person I want to show love to is Trey Murphy, man. And I've been like harping his name out since if I haven't said it on a podcast, I'm gonna say it now. Like Trey Murphy is slowly becoming one of the best role players in the league right now, man. Like talking about a guy who's like usually coming off the bench. He started this game, right, because Zion was still out, right, and he put on a performance: 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and then but also got 1 steal and 3 blocks. Contributing on both ends of the floor. Here and there, and he was balling, right, and he could shoot the three. But the one guy, with every positive, there's got to be a negative, right? And there's one guy I wanted to talk about in that perspective, and it has to be Ingram, Brandon
Yep.
Ingram, man, former number 3, number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft, and I don't know what's happened. I do not know what's happened. Like, I feel like ever since Zion came back to the team, it's like he kind of, I'm not in the sense that he lost his place or something like that, but I feel like he lost his confidence or something like that. Like, he just had not been the same player as we've seen, throughout these years, right? Especially when he was, before even Zion came, right? Or even when Zion was out, like he was doing his thing, becoming the main guy. And people were arguing when Zion came in, who's the number one option? Is it still Ingram or is it Zion, right? And it's just very frustrating to see how a star player like him, who we know he has potential, but he just hasn't been performing as well, right? But I think if the Thunder have not the Thunder, if the Pelicans have any type of chance, Ingram has to start going.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, definitely a very defensive game. One of the things that I noticed, really just looking at the stats was, both teams combined shot 22 free throws. You know what I mean? Like very low, lot of
Yeah.
fouls, not a lot of shooter fouls. You know what I mean? And that's playoff basketball. A lot of refs in the playoffs like to hold the whistle. So that's where you get a lot of these low scoring games, right? Where you don't just get people, shooting 10 free throws. You know what I mean? Just in one player. So definitely one of the biggest things that jumped out to me. Um, a player I wanted to highlight in, ironically, he is on the losing team, but this is something I said, right? Where you talk about fit and, along with Brandon Ingram, and that's Jonas Valanciunas. Like, as you can see with the Zion not in the game, he gives you 13 points and 20 rebounds. He had 20 of the team's total 52 rebounds. He had 9 offensive rebounds. He had more offensive rebounds than the OKC Thunder had as a team. So this is where the player in Jonas Valanciunas confuses me sometimes because it's like when Zion is in the game, or you know what I mean, when he's playing, Valanciunas just looks like a shell of himself. He just looks like a body out there. But when Zion isn't there, obviously he's able to give you these numbers. So I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but if regardless, I feel as though if I'm the Pelicans, I have to. If he is on the contract, I try to trade him. You know what I mean? Try to see what I can get for him because he could help a lot of teams right now in terms of the center position, and he just flat out does not fit. Not only the timeline with him being a little bit of an older player, but the play style that you're looking for. Next to Zion, if you're looking for a five next to Zion. But one of the things I just wanted to, something that just I thought about not only when watching this game, but also looking at the stats where I'm like, a player in Jordan Hawkins, he was a DMP, right? And yes, he is a rookie. Yes, he averaged less than 8 points a game during the season. But one thing that he can do is shoot. And I wonder, number one, if he does get any playing time in this series, and number two, if so, how long it would take for him to get some tick. Because I feel as though he is one of those players, that if he gets hot, he could help you off the bench. You know what I mean? You got some guys that are playing off
Mm-hmm.
the bench that
Mm-hmm.
aren't really offer you much. So if you can get a guy like a Jordan Hawkins, a young guy with young legs that can run around, he also plays defense, right? A true 3-and-D guy. If they can start to use him a little bit more, I wonder if that could make any type of impact, right? Um, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a great win by the Thunder. It literally came down to the last shot. CJ had a
Mm-hmm.
very nice look at the basket, just didn't bounce their way. But
Yeah.
it was funny because we was actually watching the game together, and one of the things I
Yeah.
said in that moment was, okay, there's two ways you could kind of handle this, right? You could either go for the quick bucket, try to get the 2-for-1, right, or you could either go for the three or go for the two at the end. And CJ, I believe, was preparing to go for the two, but he had really good
Mm.
defense played on him by Casey Wallace, made him lose his dribble, and it was kind of just a scramble
Mm-hmm.
drill, right? And he got a
Yep.
real good look at the basket, just did not fall. But amazing win by the Thunder. But speaking of defensive matchups, right? We got the next game, and it feels like this is going to be a trend the entire series.
Yeah.
That's the Magic and the Cavs, man.
Yeah. Like you said, it was a defensive show, but it was an offensive shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Magic, man. I'm pretty sure this has been back-to-back games where they score only 80 points, 80 something points, man.
Yep.
Like you're not like I get it when that's one way to play good defense, but it's one thing that when you're not hitting your shots, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes you're having cold stretches, but it just might be that you guys aren't just you guys are missing. Like it's like missing easy shots, right? And I mean, it goes to show how much they're a young team, man, very young team,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but like we both said from the previous video, we said that the Magic, what they can use from this series is that not only don't look down on themselves, but use it as a learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because this will only help them propel their future careers, for the better, right? Like you learn from these moments, you learn from your mistakes, right? But the best way to learn is to do it right now. Is to do it right now from game
Mm-hmm.
to game, right? And so we're gonna see how good actually is this Magic team because if like it can go either one of two ways. They can stay and just do the things they do and score 80 points the rest of the series
Mm-hmm.
and be looked upon next season like, wait a minute, should they be a high seed again,
Yeah.
right? Or they can make some adjustments, maybe sneak a game, win a game or two or three if it goes to seven, right? And prove people wrong that hey, although we might be a young team, we're here to fight, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. But besides that standpoint, Ben Carroll, man, Ben Carroll, you gotta be more aggressive, my dog. Like he I don't know. His game. is so weird to me. Where like like we've seen it all throughout the whole regular season where he's going into paint. He's fighting to go into paint. He's driving.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like no matter who's there, if it's AD, if it's like Rudy Gobert, if it's Wemby, doesn't matter who's there. He's going to drive into the paint. I want to see that same type of energy when you go up against a Evan Mobley. You go up against a Jared Allen,
Mm-hmm.
right? I want to see that type of energy because he has the ability to do it. It's just that
Yeah.
sometimes he just defers to other people, like to Franz Wagner or to Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs,
Mm.
right? Which it's like that's cool and all, but it's like go get a bucket. Like your team needs a bucket
Yeah.
really bad. You're scoring only 86 points, so it's not going to cut it,
Yeah.
But honestly, credit to the Cavs though. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Spider Mitchell, he had a bad shooting night, but he still did his thing at the end. And I think the best player of the game was neither Banker or Spider. I think it was Jared Allen, man. Talking
Yep.
about 16 points, 20 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even ask anything more. Like for me, ever since he was on the Nets, I kind of seen it coming. He was going to become one of the best centers in the league. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's the top 5 center in the league. Call me crazy or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? That maybe that's a topic for another day. But he's playing like
Mm-hmm.
probably one of the best centers in the playoffs right now so far, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about Jared Allen, really both their bigs, right? Like where you talked about last episode, like the Cavs easily have one of the best, if not the best, front court in the league. I feel like the only team that can really contend with them is maybe the Lakers if you consider Bron a power forward, and maybe Milwaukee with Giannis and Brook Lopez. But these young bigs, like they're good, man. And the Cavs, they're an anomaly in terms of a team really running two big men, right? Because in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
Evan Mobley on almost any other basketball team is a five, but he plays the four. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Yeah.
that is a tall task for a team in the Magic that like to get a lot of their points in the paint, right? With a
Mm-hmm.
Paolo Banchero. And to your point, I understand, and it's not necessarily settling or deferring to other players, but it's settling for certain shots, right? Like I get it. They got
Mm.
two, trees in the paint, right? But shooting is not your game right now. You know what I mean? So you can't keep
Mm-mm.
settling for these jumpers when they're just not landing. Like at a certain point, you just have to go to the hole. And listen, maybe they foul you, right? Like, but you just have to be more aggressive in terms of attacking the rim. You one of the things about a shot blocker, ironically one of the most effective ways to play against a shot blocker is by going right at them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yep.
shot blockers are not used to that, right? Guys consistently they could have 7 blocks in a game, and a guy is still running at me full speed. Not a lot of guys are used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe this is something that Paolo was kind of tinkering with, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. But in my opinion, if I'm the coach, I'm like, yo, I don't care if they each have 10 blocks in this game. Attack them. You know what I mean? Because listen, you can have a game where they get foul
Exactly.
trouble, right? Where now that completely changes the whole dynamic of the game because now the Cavs have to sub in maybe an Isaac Okoro or whatever. And again, that changes the whole dynamic of the game. So there's just things to think about, if I'm Paolo, right? You shoot 9 for 20. Franz Wagner, 18 points on 17 shots. You know, it's just not gonna cut it, man. Like especially when nobody else on that team is really, giving them anything. And a name that again, kind of similar to the Pelicans game. And I think about, I'm like, damn, like Joe Ingles, man. Like this is a veteran, player on a very young team. And I thought he would make a bigger impact than he got, quite frankly, has this season, especially in the playoffs. Like he's not really giving them anything. Um, but I feel like this is gonna be. I have this series going to 7. Um, and I just feel like this is just going to be a routine thing where both teams are shooting, or scoring under 100 points. Like it's just going to be it's the
Yeah.
style of basketball both these teams play, right? So if you listen, if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for defensive basketball, like this is what
Yeah.
your their series for you. Um, but another close game, that I feel as though is a good transition point. My Sixers, man. Sixers versus Knicks. Knicks take a 2-0 lead. Final score was 101 to 104. I'll give the stats first. So Joel Embiid, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 12 for 29. Tyrese Maxey, 35 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, shooting 12 for 22. Tobias Harris, 10 points. He was the only other 76er to score double-digit points. And no one else literally did anything.
Yep.
But before I really get to the Knicks side of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a couple of things I want to talk about. One, I want to
Here we
give my
go.
respect to, Joel Embiid and Maxey, right? Because to be quite frankly, they are carrying this team right now. And another thing is, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of commotion around the topic of Tobias Harris, right?
Mhm.
And this is a player that since he's arrived
Yeah. The
in
best
in
player.
Philadelphia, he's been a favorite of mine. But I have to be honest, the shit is getting old. It's getting real old. You know what I mean? Where I can't defend you if you're gonna come into games and shoot 4 for 11 and then go home. Like that's all you're gonna do for us. Like if you're supposed to be our third best
Mm-hmm.
player, and again, nobody else on the team is scoring besides obviously our two best guys. When Joel Embiid is not on the court, or when Maxey is not on the court, you should be the second option. You should be thinking about yourself as the second option. So
Yes.
no, I see this all the time where we shoot 7 times in a game, shoots 8, shoots 11 times in a game. There should be no reason, especially in the playoffs where your rotations are short, right? Only 8-man rotation. There should be no reason why you're shooting less than
Mm-hmm.
13 shots a game. You know what I mean? Because that's the one thing about Tobias Harris is, relatively speaking, in terms of his numbers, he's efficient. He just does not do anything. Like, you know what I mean? He'll hit 3 or 4 out of 7 shots. But the problem is you're only shooting the ball 7 times. There's literally highlight reels of him having wide open
Yep.
shots and passing out of it. Like, we need you to produce, right, on both sides of the ball, especially offensively, in a
Yep.
series that, to be quite honest, I believe every single game is going to be close. It's going to come down to moments. It's going to come down to,
Yes.
it's a make or miss lead. But now pivoting onto the other side,
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing the like Josh Hart just in a whole nother tier than what he was doing in regular season. Like 21 points, 15 rebounds. He shot
Yeah.
4 for 7 from the 3-point line. Dante DiVincenzo, 19 points, shot 4 for 8
Yep.
from three. These were their two juggernauts in this game, right? And so far in this series, this is back to
Mm-hmm.
back games that Jalen Brunson has not played well. You know what I mean? In this game, 24 points, shooting 8 for
Right.
29, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. And I say that because the fact that, again, their best players had 2 back-to-back bad games and we lost both of those games, there's
Yes.
nothing, like, I don't know what else that you could ask for, right? Like if you
Unacceptable.
tell me,
Unacceptable,
okay,
man.
Jalen Brunson is gonna shoot terribly these first 2 games, I'd be like, okay, at the very least we're 1-1, but no, we're down a 2-0. This stings even more, because a lot of people, and the main discourse about game 2 in particular was, the calls, the officiating, whatever. But my biggest thing
Yeah.
is, okay, and this is crazy. So again, Josh Hart 4 for 7 from three, Dante DiVincenzo 7 for 8 from three. Every other Knicks player combined shot
Yep.
3 for 18 from the 3-point line. Like, the Knicks were gift wrapping this game to the Sixers, and they still could not win. Joel Embiid missed 4
Yes.
free throws. Mind you, we lost by 3 points. Joel Embiid missed 4 free throws. Kyle Lowry missed 2.
Yeah.
That is 6 points just left out into space. If you give us 4 of those 6,
Yep. And what? One of your better free throws too.
yeah,
Free throwers too.
you know what I mean. Like, this is the thing where when you talk about playing basketball, you talk about these games. Free throws are a commodity. So when you get the calls, you have to knock the shots
Mm-hmm.
down. You know what I mean? So again, everybody wants to talk about the refs this, the refs that. But listen, if I tell you that their best player is going to shoot poorly, and as a team they're going to shoot terrible from three, except for 2 players, You have to win that game.
Yeah, man. Like, and I get it, right? The refs, did they play a part in the loss? Sure, we could say that. I mean, you could definitely say that for sure, right? I mean, there were definitely missed calls. I think for me, it wasn't really the foul on Maxi late. I think the big one was a timeout that they didn't
Mm-hmm.
let Nick Nurse have. Um, but like you said, man, and similar to, and this is where where me and you we have like similar views on how the game goes, especially and
Yep.
this goes for all sports, even football, right? Where it's like the way people are calling out the refs especially in a playoff game reminds me to a similar situation to what happened when it was in football. It was the Saints
Mm-hmm.
versus the Rams
Yep.
on the obvious PI call, right? It was the same type of magnitude, and essentially based, what we both said to all of our friends is that, hey man, there were multiple opportunities to win the game besides that before it
Mm-hmm.
had to lead up to that point, and it's like, look, we get it. The refs are going to be refs, right? They're not going to make every call. They're not perfect, and we know they're. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you say, okay, the refs are ass, right? So take it upon yourself to win the game before it comes to that
Yeah.
situation. That's just me, right? And it's always like you said, Joel Embiid missing free throws. Kyle Lowry missing free throws. Maxi, he had you know what? Yeah, Maxi
Mm-hmm.
had a great night, right? But like you said, it doesn't matter if you have a great night unless you have great moments. That's the thing, right? Because there were moments down the stretch where he was
Or
rushing a
turnover.
little bit. He was going too fast, right? You should have slowed it down. Exactly, right? Especially the big one was when he drove into the paint to the left side and it got blocked by Isaiah Hartenstein, right? It gave him some momentum, gave him an extra rebound to get the lead, or not the lead, just like
Mm-hmm.
chop down the lead, right? And so stuff like that really really matters because you like for people that didn't watch the game, it's like they just look at the box score. So shoot, Max had a great game. Why shouldn't they win? Well, you gotta look at the perspective where you can have a great game, but if you don't have good moments, it's not gonna cut it, right? But credit to Maxi though, he's been playing great. I think he's been playing as the
Yo,
best guard
easy.
in this
Yep.
series for sure. Um, yeah, and Embiid, Embiid, man, he had an okay game. I know 34 points is
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of crazy to say it's okay, but you look at all totality, like he is not like it's kind of like given a break if you say that he's
Yeah.
even like 50% healthy, right? Because he is the opposite of that. Like the way he's even like just coming down the floor and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not him, right? You can see him wincing pain. You can see him, even
Mm-hmm.
just walking down the court. It just hurts. He's fighting through some immense pain. And the one stat that I saw that really opened my eyes to see how much Embiid is affected by his injury is that in the second half, you want to guess how many rebounds he had in the second half?
I didn't know you were prompting me. I have no idea. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but it's all good. But no, but basically, he had one rebound in the second half. One. It just goes to show how much that knee injury and all the other
Mm.
injuries is affecting him, man. He is breaking down, right? And shout out
Yeah.
to him that he's a warrior, right? He's gonna play through his injury. He's not gonna use that as an excuse, right? But it's just I don't know. It's just pain for me to watch that to see the Sixers team every single year. It's the same story.
Yeah.
Embiid, healthy or not, right? And even if he is
Yeah.
healthy, he's gonna get hurt eventually, right? And it just sucks, right? But at the end of the day, you know, if we can talk about the rest, you can talk about how the Sixers are not playing bad or not playing good, or on certain moments, right? But I want to just credit the Knicks. I mean, even after all that, right? All the
Yeah.
bullshit, they capitalize. They capitalize
Mm-hmm.
on every single opportunity. And guess what? If the Sixers want to make those mistakes, and if Sixers want to make those
It
mistakes,
is
and the
what it
refs
is.
not making calls, it is what it is. They made the threes. They made their shots, right? And here's the thing: people got to remember when they stole the ball from Maxi, right? They got a shot off, but they missed. You got to remember that they freaking missed, right? But they did not. The Sixers did not get the rebound. If they got on the
Yep.
rebound, they could have played a foul game, right? They could have played a foul game, and that's the one thing I just when I talk to every Sixers fan, especially I go to Drexel, man, and I just hear people, I waiting outside of class just talking about the game. It's like, oh, we got robbed. Like, but the one thing people don't want to mention is that they had a
Yep.
chance to still win the game, even if they took the ball away from Maxi, because they could have got the defensive rebound, but no, they didn't. They didn't, right? And those are the little things they don't want to talk about, right? And like you said, and like we all said in general, there are many ways to win a game, right? And it doesn't always have to come down to the ref.
I like to view myself as a somewhat subjective, or should I say, somewhat objective fan in terms of, yes, are there times where, as a fan, you get emotional? Yeah, I'm sure, like during the game, was there they cheating? You know what I mean? Of course. But when you really look at how sports goes, man, sports is not rigged. Just because you want to put in shitty sports bets and your parlay didn't hit does not mean that Vegas is against you. I'm sure Adam Silver and the National Basketball Association does not hate the Philadelphia 76ers. That's not how the shit works. It is a imperfect system run by imperfect people. That's how it goes. But to your point, you can't let this shit be up to the refs. There should be no reason why the game is even this close. If their team, again, outside of two players, are shooting 3 for 18 from the 3-point line, there should be no reason why the game is fucking close. Like you just said, you should get a lot of fans and even players like to blame the refs as a cop-out, to be like, okay, everybody point the finger at the ref to ignore the fact that I didn't get the rebound, to ignore the fact that I didn't hit my open shots, I didn't hit my free throws.
Yep.
It's the constant finger point that I fucking hate about both football and basketball, because if athletes do it both sports. And to be honest, as a fan, and I guess you you can make the argument, who gives a fuck about my opinion, but you lose a little bit of respect for me if I'm watching you as a player and you didn't play a perfect game and you're blaming the ref. Because like you just said, there's so many ways to win a football game, win a basketball game. There's so many moments where, okay, if you would have capitalized here on this driver, if you would have capitalized on this 3-point shot, then that wouldn't have mattered. So it's a given and take. So at the end of the day, the Sixers are down 2-0, right? But they head back to Philly, right? For a lot of these teams, you head back to your home. This is where I said in the last episode, you decide how this series is going to go, right? You make a stand to be like, okay, the first stretch was tough, but they're not winning the game in our house, right? And for all these series, if you're down 2-0, it is now panic mode. They cannot win on your home floor. You have to get the series back to 2-2. If you can't, if you go down 3-1, we know the historical relevance of that. Not a lot of teams come back from 3-1. So this is now or never for all of these teams, right? Including the Sixers. And to end off this game, I would like to rethink my prediction, right? Because I predicted the Sixers to win this series in 6. As we stand right now, right? Down 2-0, headed back to South Philly. I'm going to stick with my prediction. I'm going to stick with my
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
We have to win this next game. This is a winner go home game. You know what I mean? If you lose this game, if you go down 3-0, it's kaput. The series is over. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna stick with the Sixers. I'm gonna say, in these next games, our bench is gonna show up more. Our role players are gonna show up more. I feel like our two stars, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, right? But this is Bias Harris legacy game, right? We're calling you to the front of the class. You know what I mean? Kelly Oubre, we're calling you to the front of the class. Buddy Hield, Batum, we're calling you guys to the front of the class. This is your time to show, okay, we are contributing members to this playoff team because right now none of these guys are doing anything. So, but you know, coming down to the
Yeah.
last game, which in my opinion might have been the most entertaining game of it all. The Lakers and Nuggets. The Denver takes a
Mhm.
2-0 lead on a game-winning shot by Jamal Murray. Final score is 99-101. I'll give you the stats real quick. Anthony Davis,
Yep.
32 points, 11 rebounds. He shot 14 for 19. Crazy. LeBron, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists, shot 9 for 19. D'Lo showed some signs of life. Had 32 points and had 23 points and 6 assists.
Mhm.
Um, Michael Porter Jr. 22 points, 9 rebounds. He shot 8 for 13. Yeah, I think he had like 1 assist, so we already know the
Yes.
story about that. Nikola Jokic,
Hey,
27
at least it's
points,
one.
20 rebounds, 10 assists, like 9 for 16. This is the regular shit for
Jeez.
Jokic, man. This is crazy. And then Jamal Murray with 20 points. He did not shoot. This is something that Cochran's been saying in all these games all year long. It's not about how you play; it's about moments, right?
Mhm.
And Jamal Murray is the definition of that, right? 20,
Exactly,
9 for
man.
24, 0 for 5 from three,
Woo!
but he hit one game winner, and that's all you need. Over Anthony Davis, the outstretched arms of Anthony Davis. Jamal Murray
Yes,
hits
sir.
the shot and sends Denver up 2-0, headed back to L.A. This is again where again I love LeBron, but he's another one that's talking about refs and all this. But does he realize that the Nuggets only had two players, two players that hit 3-pointers in this game? Everybody else on the team missed their three. Like I've never seen shit like this. Those only two
Yep.
players. Cooper Jr. He shot 6 for 10, crazy, and Jokic shot 2 for 4. Everybody else missed all their threes, and you still the Lakers were up 59 to
Yeah.
44 at halftime and only scored 40 points in the second half. You can't blame that on the refs. That is poor execution,
Mhm.
flat out.
Yeah. And like it like you said, and like I've been saying, like you bro, like all comes to moments, right? And guess what? Even after all that shit, what happened? What happened? Two people had the last shot. LeBron and Jamal Murray. LeBron, you made the dude fall. What are you supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
What you after the dude's fall? You gotta hit the shot, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, hey, if you don't hit the shot, it don't count. The ankle breaker don't count, right? And
Mm-hmm.
guess what happened? It didn't go in, right? And he was cooking in the fourth quarter. He was. I'm not gonna lie. He was cooking in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
but you didn't cook in the last moment that you needed it to, right? And so going back to Jamal Murray, right? Heading into the fourth quarter, he had only 8 points. Guys, he finished the game with 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you figure out the math on that one, right? And so, he balled out in the fourth quarter when they needed him to, right? Like he shows up when it matters most. And this is the reason why I still think, right, no matter what anybody says, that the duo between
Yeah.
Jokic and Jamal Murray is still the best in the league. Because guess what? When they need each
Mm-hmm.
other at certain moments, they will show up for each other. And I've never seen anything like it, especially recently, at least, right? And Jamal Murray, we all know playoff Murray when he was in the bubble, he was going all back and forth against Donovan Mitchell, right? And then
In the
he had
Snapchat
the
video.
injury and everything after that, and he slowly. I mean, hey, man, he was a he. Hey, shoot, I mean, he had to get rewarded. He had to get rewarded somehow, man. I mean, it, it is what it is. But no, yeah, man. Like, yeah, uh, AD, he had a great performance, but I'll say this: that
Mm-hmm.
although he had a great overall performance, like you said, like like I've been saying, man, like more moments. Like basically, I'm pretty sure from the minute the third minute of the third quarter, right, all the way up to like I think like the fifth minute of the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't attempt a shot, right, a shot, man. And like you said, you
Mm-hmm.
gave the statistic. I'm not. He shot very efficiently, right, but
Yeah.
out of nowhere, he's not going to take a shot. Come on, man. Come on, man. AD, come on, man. I know, right? And here's the thing: AD been talking some shit. He's been saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, I talked to Bron during the off season. We want this.
Yeah.
Guess what? You know what you got? You got a fucking game winner on your fucking head. You got a fucking game winner on your head." And it was kind of funny because when Jamal Murray hit that shot, the whole crowd rushed to him.
Yeah.
All the players rushed to him, and you just saw
Yeah.
AD
Like
just on the bench, like, "Yo, what's going on
the
here?"
and one of
Right?
the
And
bigger
it was just
takeaways,
it was
like
just funny.
from this game, in terms of like you just said about Anthony Davis, the thing that when you were really talking about it, I just kept thinking to my head, I was like, I could only imagine like if Kobe was still alive and he looked at this stat sheet, the first thing out his mouth would be, "Why the fuck did you not have 50?" Right? You shooting
Oh,
14 for 19. Why are you only shooting 19 shots? Evidently, you are on a heater right now. And I don't know if this is an Anthony Davis thing. I don't know if this is a Darvin Ham thing. But if I have a player that is shooting 14 for 19, trust and believe that motherfucker is ending the game with 30 shots. Because we found something that LeBron said in one of his pods where I don't know why
mm-hmm.
teams, when they find something that works, they just stop doing it. Like, I'm gonna keep running this play until y'all figure this shit out. Evidently, listen. Maybe Brian got a little bit of the
He was
script right,
foreshadowing
where
it, bro.
if obviously, and this is back to back games where Anthony Davis has had good games. Why are you not running your offense through Anthony Davis? He should be shooting
Yep.
the ball no less than 25 times, no less than 25, because this is back to back 30 point double doubles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get the motherfucker the ball. Again, I don't know if this is a scheme
Mm-hmm.
thing, a Darvin Ham thing, because we all know he's a little suspect. But if I'm Anthony Davis, listen, man, you a grown ass
I
man.
mean, his last name is Ham,
Demand
so
listen, Kobe would have demanded the ball. Shaq would have demanded the ball. All these Laker greats would have demanded the ball. And if you
mm-hmm.
want to be a Lakers great, if you see yourself in in that echelon, you have to act like it. And again, 14 for 19, as amazing as a stat line that is, at the end of the day, you lost. And if I'm thinking about it, if I'm Anthony Davis, I'm like, damn, I should have been taking more shots.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, man. And it's like one of those things where it's like
Mm-hmm.
mentally for the Lakers, it's like we had them, right? And just when you think you had them, you let it go, right? And this is like what 13, 12 games in
Mm-hmm.
a row now for the Nuggets against the Lakers, including regular season and playoffs. Like that's just insane, right? And that goes a lot. Like when it's like double digits, like winning streak
Yeah,
against a certain team in a row, it's like, yo, can we even beat this team, right? And it's like one of those things where like I saw something on First Take, where basically they said which one was the more devastating loss, the Lakers game or the Sixers game,
easy.
right? Me personally, I I thought it was the Lakers game,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the main thing is mainly because who they're playing. You got one side where you got on the Knicks where it's been close every single time, right? Where it's like, oh, it can go either way, and who knows? The Sixers might turn on a heater, right? But then
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing: the Lakers are playing defending champions, right? When you know you cannot go down 2-0 against that team because the series is over, right? And who knows? They might steal a game still or so. But they're playing at the end of the day. They're playing the defending champions, and they had a chance to go home they could go home with
Mm-hmm.
2 home games, right, and be
Yep.
tied up 1-1, and the series could have been flipped on its head top.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, wait, the Lakers might have home field advantage if they can win these home games, right? But we're not thinking about that anymore, right? That's in a distant past now, right? So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to respond because LeBron. I think I mean we all know LeBron. He's going to do his thing. It's just a matter of who are the other guys? It's always about the others. But when it's the LeBron led team, it's about the others. What are you guys going
Yeah.
to do? And I'm not even just talking
Wake
about the
up.
players. I'm talking about the coach, Darvin Ham. What the fuck are you doing, dog? Like, why are you taking out
Wake up.
AD for all these minutes? I don't care. Playing 48. I don't give a fuck. He's my best player.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Right? There's a reason why your rotation is small for a reason. Because you want to play your best, your best 5,
Mm-hmm.
best, maybe 7, 8 players on the field. I mean, on the court. And so, it's. I mean, hey. When you got a coach last
That's
name named
haram,
Ham, it's
bro.
got to
That's
be
haram,
suspect.
bro.
So it is what it
But
is.
with that being said, man,
It passed, but it's all good.
obviously we still have some games going on right now as we speak, and like I said at the top of the episode, we'll make sure to definitely discuss them in our next episode, which will probably be dropped on Friday, Saturday, something like that. It's
Yes,
gonna be a
sir.
little bit of a gap. We got some scheduling problems with
Yeah.
Wednesday in particular, and then be on the lookout on Thursday, man. We have the NFL draft. We will be doing a live
Yeah.
stream of the draft. We might have some special guests for that episode. So listen, if you
Yes,
want our
sir.
full live, you know, unfiltered reactions to the NFL draft, definitely be on the lookout for that. Is it? Listen, I think that's going to be a very entertaining video. But again, right after that, we're right back to playoff basketball, man. So with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, make sure you guys continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll
Yes,
have all
sir.
of our social media links in the description. So with that being said, man, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir.